came to the city but as a volunteer. So I have a degree in entrepreneurship, and I was planning to be a clean tech entrepreneur. But then I started volunteering with the city's environmental commission, and in my 20s helped create a great plan around solar energy. To this day, we're still #1 for solar installed on city facilities. And it felt like you could really make a difference. And when you see an opportunity for the city to do better, you can go do it. Local government is amazing that way. So much of what we get done is just great ideas from our community and people who find an advocate at City Hall. So I've found it very rewarding. I was terrible as a candidate when I started. Like, I would freeze up and forget my lines and be really uncomfortable, particularly with the public speaking. But like many things, you get better with time, and I've learned that people who are watching are rooting for me to be interesting and not totally flub it, so I get more comfortable.
Yeah, and that's where that passion for what you're doing really shines through. You had mentioned before you are a mom. You have a son who is the same age as my oldest, actually. And I really just have to ask, how do you balance motherhood and your work life, your life in the public, really? Because work life, I mean, there's so much more to it, being the mayor. I mean, how do you juggle it all, and how do you find that balance?
I have learned I have to have time where it's just my son and me, and I really give him my 100% attention. I think early on I always tried to do twofers, where I'm going to find a great work event that he will also enjoy, but he really deserves full attention from mom. We're exploring Arizona together, so we just did the Grand Canyon Railway and had a wonderful time seeing our beautiful state, and it's just the two of us, and I think he really values that mom time.
Yeah.
I've also learned I have to ask for help.
Yes, and that can be a really hard thing to do for any of us, is to ask for help from that village. But it sounds like you have a lot of people around you who support you and are rooting for you.
I have a lot of great friends who helped me. There were a bunch of particularly women who, when I was running, were like, we're going to make sure you can be a great mom and a great candidate for mayor, and really helped me. And then my dad is wonderful, and he is there for me in ways where if the council meeting went late, he'll watch and pick up my son and just really be a great support. And my son is lucky to have an incredible grandfather that's in his daily life.
Absolutely. And I know you also like to hike, right? So do you and your son have favorite trails that you like to explore, or certain spots in Phoenix that you really like?
So I think the Kiwanis Trail in South Mountain is probably my favorite. We have a New Year's tradition where we go to a trail that has Fat Man's Pass at South Mountain, and it's this like very narrow area between two rocks. And since he was 3 years old, he'll always like go and get stuck in Fat Man's Pass. I can fit through it, so at age 3, he was not really stuck, but every year I have a different picture of him in that one location, just having fun and pretending to get stuck.
And I love that, creating those special memories, just one-on-one, that really intentional time. That's really wonderful. We are here at Changing Hands Bookstore, a wonderful spot to be in. I know you are an avid reader, so are there certain books that you're reading right now, or any recommendations that you'd like to share?
I guess the last book I read just totally for fun was an Emily Henry book, like kind of a beach read called Happy Place. I can't say I had a lot of like thought-provoking or incredibly redeeming, but it was just fun for when you need a light read. And then I recently finished Chips War, which is about the semiconductor industry. One of the things I'm very proud of here is transforming our economy towards high-wage jobs, and semiconductors are at the top of that. We are going to make the iPhone chips of the future right here in Phoenix. So it was both an enjoyable read, but I think one that helps me better understand what's going on.
How do you find the time to read, or to explore some of these different books and passions that you have?
So sometimes it's just finding time at a doctor's office or on an airplane, but I've been trying to be very disciplined about no electronics for the half hour before bed. And so mostly I read with my son, but sometimes I get a little bit of fun mom reading.
Yeah, and that makes a big difference too. I have found just that time just for yourself for a minute can be really wonderful. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for spending time with us here today. It really was such a pleasure speaking with you.